All right, in this video, we're gonna use ComfyUi with Stable Diffusion 3.5. Yes, the latest ComfyUi, the latest Stable Diffusion model. And we're gonna do it all in the cloud on RunPod. Why RunPod? Well, a lot of the stuff is just way too intense for your computer. Architects, architecture students, and students thinking about architecture. Let's get into it. All right, the first thing to do is go to runpod.io. Sign up for an account and then log in. Once you log in, go down on the left column, go over to billing. Set yourself up with $10, okay? $10 to start with, and then you'll take it from there. Okay, so you make an account, you go to billing, you put $10 into your account. Then you wanna go over to pods, okay? And here you can deploy a pod. And if I click on deploy, I want a GPU. I want secure cloud, not community cloud, because we're going to be making a network volume drive, basically a drive where you store your files. And next time you create a new pod, you leave and you come back, your files will still be there. And you can only set up a network volume drive using secure cloud. We want to turn global networking off, okay, because you just won't have access to as many GPUs as you're going to need with global networking. So we turn that off. Then you have the network volume, and I'm going to go to the down arrow and I'm going to click on the plus for network volume. I like Europe. I like Europe. EU RO-1. I like that one. It has a lot of availability. It has a 4090 in case I need it. Now, I've been recommending an RTX A4000, and you see that one here. That one's decent. I will warn you, Stable Diffusion model 3.5, it's pretty intense. It's pretty robust. So you might need the 4090. So I like having the 4090, but then also having the choice to do the RTX A4000. I'm going to start with the RTX A4000. So how do I get that? I scroll down a little bit more. I give my network volume drive a name. I'm going to call this ComfyUi. And I would start with 50 gigabytes. 50 gigabytes, I think it's $3.50 a month. So I'm going to start with that, $3.50 a month. Okay, just moving myself out of the way here so I can click on create. Okay, now you need to pick the GPU. So you need to scroll down here and find the one you're looking for. I mentioned that I'm looking for the RTX A4000. I can start with that one. It's relatively inexpensive. And if I needed a 4090, I would just scroll up here. So the 4090 is 24 gigabyte of VRAM. And if I scroll down, the A4000 is only 16 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's the difference between those two. But I'll start with the A4000. And then my template, okay, super important. The template that you're looking for is ComfyUi Python 3.11. 3.11. So that's the version of Python that you need to run ComfyUi, and then PyTorch 2.4.0. And you get that by just clicking on Change Template and looking through and finding that exact one. From what I remember, it's pretty deep down into the list. I'm just scrolling, I'm scrolling. Here it is, pretty deep down in the list. And what is it under? It is under, you can do searches for this, but you can find it. It's under the community. So it's not a built-in official RunPod template. It was made by the community, but whoever made that, they did a really good job with that. So I appreciate that. Okay, so that's the one that we want. And then at the very bottom, you're gonna click on Deploy on Demand. Then it's gonna build your pod. Okay, so here is the pod, and there's a little down arrow in the upper right. We're going to click on that. So things are happening. And where do we see the things that are happening? We go to the logs. So we click on the logs. It might take a second, and then something's going to pop up. And things are happening here. It's saying, right now it's saying cloning into ComfyUi. So this will take a while. This can take, I mean, I've had it take 30 minutes, but it's only the first time that you do this, only the first time that you launch and create a ComfyUi pod. As long as you're storing that network volume drive and you're re-accessing it, next time you log in, this part won't take so long. So this is going to take a while. I'll be back. Okay, so while this is running, you're going to find that it's going to say that you need a new release of PIP is available. And it says run semicolon pip install dash dash upgrade pip. We're going to take this part, pip install space dash dash upgrade space pip. We're going to copy that to the clipboard because we're going to use that when this is all done. All right, hang tight. Should be finishing up soon. Okay, when it's done, it's going to say start scripts, finished. Pod is ready to use. That's when you know it's done. So mine took 9 minutes. Started at 126, finished at 135. 9 minutes. It's going to vary. It can take shorter or longer. Okay, I'm going to close this window and I'm going to go to connect. And we're going to see two things that we need to connect to. One is going to be the HTTP service, and that's when I'm ready to run ComfyUi. It runs on the port 8188, so that's important to note, and that's important to see that it is 8188. Then there's Jupyter Lab. Well, ComfyUi is not ready yet. I have to do some things in Jupyter Lab to make ComfyUi ready. So ComfyUi is here. That will stay red. We'll come back to it. First step is to go to the Jupyter Lab. So we're clicking on the Jupyter Lab. Okay, so we're starting out in the workspace folder in the upper left here. That's very important to know. That's where ComfyUi is. But to upgrade that PIP, we need to go to the root folder, open a terminal, paste in our text, PIP space install space dash dash upgrade space PIP, enter. All right, so what does it say? It says requirement already satisfied. This I really don't get, to be honest with you. So it said we needed to upgrade the PIP, and when we did it, it said it was already satisfied. Okay, I guess all things good, it's already satisfied. Now I need to go into my workspace folder to run ComfyUi. Now I can't run it in this terminal. I've made this mistake many times. This terminal is the root directory still. I need to be in the workspace. So I'm going to close this, bring up a new terminal. Now I'm in the workspace. Now I can run this file over here, the run_gpu.shell. The CPU shell is not what we need. The whole reason we're on RunPod is so we can use fast GPUs. So we're using the run_gpu.shell. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in period / and then the file name, run_gpu.sh for shell. And then this is going to take a little time. But basically, this is launching ComfyUi. It's making ComfyUi ready for us. So when we go back over here, this is going to be green. This HTTP service 8188 is going to be green. All right, so what are things saying? Again, it's saying a new release of PIP is available. But no, it told us that it was already satisfied. Maybe someone in the comments is going to be able to help us out with that. Okay, this looks like it's stalling, but it's just going to take some time to finish loading. There it goes. It's continuing on. I'll let you know when it's done. Here it's pointing out the GPU that we're using, so you'll see the one that you picked to rent. I picked the RTX A4000 for this one. You'll see the one you picked there. It's loading the ComfyUi manager, which is really helpful. Some of these templates don't have the ComfyUi manager already preloaded, so it's preloaded for us, so that's great. Okay, it will say all startup tasks have been completed. Okay, now when we go back over to the pods, the HTTP service is green and ready to go. We're going to click on it, scoot this over. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is ComfyUi. This is the newest, latest version of ComfyUi. It may not seem familiar because you haven't used the newest version. Well, here you go. This is the newest version. And there is a basics template. If I close this, the workflow will be blank, but there's a basics template where I can click on the basics template and it will give me a basics template. And it's telling me that it's missing a safe tensors model. And we're gonna be diving pretty deep into that. Okay, so I'm gonna go find that. So that's the 1-5 pruned, I'm going to find something compatible with that. Okay, so here we are in ComfyUI. If you've never been in ComfyUI, the wheel zooms in and out. The wheel, if you press it down, also pans, or the left mouse button pans here. Right mouse button gives you some options. Okay, so this is all, I'm all about architecture. This is all about for architecture, but we're just gonna run this one. If I run it, at the bottom I can click on run, or I can use Control Enter, and it's going to tell me that it's having a problem with that checkpoint model. So I'm going to click close. So we have the manager here. I'm going to go to the manager. I'm going to go to the model manager, and I'm going to search for pruned with one N. And here's one, V-15 pruned. It's not the exact one, but this one will work. This is just to test to make sure ComfyUI is working. So I'm going to click on install. And that's going to take a little bit of time to install. 4.27 gigabytes. That's another reason to work in RunPod. These files, especially the Stable Diffusion 3.5, these files are going to get really large pretty quickly. So they'll fill up your hard drive. So another reason to work on RunPod. You'll see a status bar on the bottom left where it's giving you a status of this 4.27 GB file downloading. See you in a second. All right, that took a little bit of time. It says refresh required. So I'm going to click on the refresh. That refreshed. I'm going to click on back. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this window. So now when I click in here, it's not this model, but when I click on here, it's going to give me the option to select the model that we downloaded. Okay, now we pick that one. Now when I do Control Enter, we should be good to go. It's loading the checkpoint model, so the load checkpoint node is green, and then it's going to go on. It's going to stall a little bit on the K sampler, and then it's going to create the image. So remember, the first time you run a checkpoint model, it's got to load it in, so that's always going to take a little bit of time. Now it's in the K sampler. Now it's making this beautiful bottle image that we're all familiar with. Okay, we're here not for beautiful bottles. We're not making bottles. We're making architecture here. So what do we need to do? We need to run Stable Diffusion 3.5. Okay, now we got to go ahead and get that checkpoint model. So we're looking for Stable Diffusion, and I'm looking for Stable Diffusion Medium. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So Stable Diffusion Medium. It's on Hugging Face and it's on Civit AI. I'm going to get the one from Civit AI because I can use my API key to access that file directly. So Stable Diffusion 3.5 has been out since October 2024. There is a large, an XL Turbo, and a medium. And the medium is the lightest weight one. It's the quickest, fastest generator. And I did some large testing and some medium testing, and I actually liked the images that were coming directly from the medium model. So it's faster and the images look better. So I'm going to go to Civit AI Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium. I'm logged in. So you want to make an account. You want to log in. You want to scroll all the way down. You want to scroll all the way down till you see this gear. So you make an account, you log in, scroll, click on your profile photo, scroll all the way down, click on this gear for account settings, and then you'll scroll down pretty far here, almost to the bottom, almost to the very bottom. You'll see API keys, and you're going to want to add an API key, and you're going to want to give it a name, and then you're going to want to copy that API text, and I'll show you in a minute what you want to do with it. So what I've been doing is I've been just making some Word files, just some document files. Doesn't have to be Word, but somewhere where you can, type some things in and reference it. Okay, so if I go to Civit AI Stable Diffusion 3.5, I'm going to open that one up. Okay, I'm logged in. I'm at Stable Diffusion 3.5. Right here on the download button, I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose copy link address. And then I'm going to open up a new window. I'm just testing this out and I'm pasting it in. So I'm copying, pasting, and I'm getting rid of everything right up to the question mark, right up to the model number. So everything with the question mark goes away. I press enter. I get a pop-up. I know this link is good because it's asking me if I want to save it locally. Well, we're working on RunPod. We're not working locally. So we want to be able to copy this file directly from Civit AI to RunPod, and that's what we're going to cover. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to take this information, copy it, and when I go over to Word, I already have this. I already have Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium safe tensors. So what I would be pasting in is I would be pasting in this. Okay, and then after that, I need, like it says here, token equal, token equal, and then my API key. Okay, so that's what you need. You need up to the models, then you're going to type equal, and then copy in the API key that you got from Civit AI. Okay, and then you're going to take all of that and copy it to the clipboard. So take all of it and Control C. Take all of it and Control C, and we're going to go over to our Jupyter notebook. And this is going to need to go in a special directory. It has to go in a directory. That directory is going to be workspace. So you see that here in the upper left. Then ComfyUi. Then models. And then checkpoint. Can't go in the checkpoint. Just a glitch, just a thing. Doesn't let me go in the checkpoint on Jupyter Lab in RunPod. So I'm going to have to copy it here to this location and then drag it into the checkpoints. So I want to make sure I'm in the ComfyUi models directory when I start my terminal. So I'm going to close this terminal. I'm in the ComfyUi models, almost in checkpoints. I'm clicking on terminal. I'm typing in wget space, pasting, enter. And then that's going to work. That's going to start copying the file over, because it has my API key, which gives me permission to copy the file from Civit AI. It's got a little status bar. It's telling you how long it's going to take. Over here, it's probably giving you an estimate. So here's the estimate, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. So we'll let that just kind of finish up there. While it's finishing, I don't have to wait. I can rename it. So if I go back to Word here, I already have the name here ready to go. Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium dot safe tensors. That's the important part. Dot safe tensors. Doesn't matter what you name it, but dot safe tensors, that's the file extension. That has to be there. And then no spaces in the name. No spaces in the name. Okay. So I'm going to right click and rename this. Paste it in. Okay. Click off of it. Move this over, make sure it's exactly what I want it to be. Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium safe tensors. It's still copying, so I'm not going to move it. It's 50%. So this is a pretty big model. We didn't check how big this model was. The model here says it's 9.9 gigabytes. So it's almost 10 gigabytes. So it's a pretty big file. Okay, that's done. That is complete. Now I can take it and just drag it into the abyss. Just drag it into the checkpoints folder and cross my fingers. How do I know it goes there? Well, when I go back over to ComfyUi, I need to refresh. Okay, I need to refresh. So I can go to Edit, Refresh Node Definitions, and then I can go and click on it, and then I'm finding my Stable Diffusion 3.5. Okay, so that's there. Now that just doesn't work. You can't just go from Stable Diffusion 1.5 or Stable Diffusion 2 and then run a 3.5 diffusion model. What's going to happen when I press Control Enter? It's going to load that and it's going to give me an error. Clip text and code. So this definition, or what's called the workflow, is not ready to go for 3.5. We're going to look at one that's ready to go. Okay, where do we get it? We're going to get this from Hugging Face. So we're going to go to Hugging Face, or I'm just going to actually do a search for Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium. And remember, we used Civit AI already, but here's Hugging Face. So I'm going to click on the Hugging Face. And I'm going to go to Files and Versions. And I'm going to scroll down. Okay, now it may not let me download this without being logged in and without being given access, but I'm going to try it here. So which one am I looking for? I am looking for the 3.5M example workflow. That's the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can download this. Okay, it's letting me download it. I'm not downloading it to RunPod server. I'm just downloading it locally to my computer, and I can access it locally from my computer from RunPod. Okay, so just want to name this. I'll put video so I know which one it is. Okay, so I'll put video there. Okay, so back over here in ComfyUi, we're going to go to Workflow, and we're going to go to Open. And then we're going to open the file that we just downloaded. Okay, so here it is. It's quite a bit different, okay? But some things are familiar. So here it has load checkpoint. And this is where we're going to put our Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium model. Then it has these clip G, clip L, maybe it's clip I, safe tensors, and this FP16 safe tensors. It has these. So if I control enter, it's going to tell me that it's missing those. So we got to go and get those. They're not going to be the exact ones, but they're going to work just fine. So we're going to do this through the manager. And then we're going to go to model manager. And then I'm going to type in clip. It's easier, I think, if I type in ComfyUi. Okay, there they are. ComfyUi, clip I, and clip G. Okay, we're going to download both of these, and then we'll go and get the third one. So I'm going to click on install and click on install. So the first one's only 246 megabytes. The second one's 1.39 gigabytes. So that'll take a little bit of time on install. I don't know. It didn't work the first time I clicked on it, but I clicked on it again. It says refresh required, but I think we'll go get the third one before we'll refresh it because we're going to have to leave this page. Okay, we'll click refresh. Okay, refresh worked. We'll go back. Okay, so we need to get one more. If I close this window, we need to get this FP16, this one, this safe tensor. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find that one by going back to the manager, going to the model manager, typing in FP16 and seeing what I get here. So I have a bunch of options here. Let's find the one that I want. Okay, so we're going to need this one, this SDV 5X 5XXL FP16 safe tensor. So I need to find that one in the model manager. That might be a little tricky. Let's see if I can do it. All right, so we're going to type in the FP16. Should I put dot safe? Okay, with the dot safe, I found this one. So text encoders, there's my dog Rita. She's joining us. Rita, what do you see outside? Everyone say hi to Rita. She must see something out there. Okay, this is the one. I know this is the one because it's almost 10 gigabytes. Okay, so this is the text encoders for Flux FP16. So that's the one that we want. We're going to click on install and let that 9.79 gigabyte file transfer over. Okay, that definitely took some time. Almost 10 gigabytes. All right, refresh. Click on back, click on close, click this away. Is it there if I click on it? There it is, the FP16. Now, am I ready to go? Control enter. Okay, I didn't change the top ones. Okay, so these for whatever reason didn't get changed. So G and I just forgot about them. Okay, control enter. All right, there it goes. There it goes. It's loading in those clips. I'm just kind of looking around here. Got our model. Let's see what else. Let's see how long. Our load image is on the far right. I like that it highlights where it's green, and then it also in the status bar at the very top, it's giving you a percentage, so it's 15%. So again, just like loading in the models, these clip safe tensors are also going to take some time. Remember that one was almost 10 gigabytes, so that's got to load in. So the first time you give it a go at this, it's going to take some time. That finished. It's already in the K sampler on its way to making us an image. All right, there it is, a better bottle maybe than the last bottle. But again, we're not here for bottles, okay? We're here for architecture. So we need some prompts. We need a prompt. Lucky for us, I have one that is ready to go, okay? And we can talk a little bit about it. Okay, here it is. A contemporary farmhouse cabin in the parametric style of Zaha Hadid in the woods with mist and fog in the air, snowy mountainous landscape with lots of large evergreen trees, soft desaturated rose-colored glow, ethereal heaven-like light, ambient occlusion, soft shadows, groups of people scattered in the foreground. That's going to be our positive. That's going to be our positive prompt. So we're going to go ahead and paste that in. Did Stable Diffusion earlier versions know parametric style or Zaha Hadid? I don't think so, but 3.5 knows. So let's go to our negative. I don't want old, I don't want worn, I don't want faded. So I'm putting that into the negative prompt. All right, I think we're ready to just run it. All right, Control Enter. Okay, you see the progress at the top. It's already in the K-sampler, so it's not sitting in the model. It's not sitting in the clip. I did want a batch of 4, though. This is just a single one. So let's let this single one go, and we'll talk about kind of getting it like mid-journey where we can have a batch of 4 images. All right, not a bad image. Definitely listening to me. Definitely mist and fog in the air. It took the rose color as kind of giving it the rose color light coming from the building. It's very full of undulating curves, so it's very Zaha. Let's look at running this one more time, but with the batch of 4. So here's our empty SD3 latent image. So we're going to change that to 4, and we're going to shift or Control Enter. Run that bad boy. Should be showing up in the K-sampler. Okay, it's in the K-sampler. Now it's going to take a little longer to run the 4 images. All right, that actually took quite a bit longer. We might be exceeding the capabilities of this A4000 GPU. Might need to go to a higher GPU because it'll be faster. Even though the rental time per hour is more, you'll be on the pod for less time. So it might be better. It might, be more cost effective. But I just click on the 4, and I'm clicking on the right arrow to go through the images. Okay, so where do these images end up? Some pretty good ones. Giving Midjourney a run for its money. Midjourney is a lot faster, though. I'll have to say that. So where do these images go? Okay, if we go back over to our Jupyter lab, and we go and we find outputs. So we're going to go to ComfyUi, and we're going to go down to output. And then here's some images. I'm not seeing all my images here, though, which is kind of interesting. I see the bottle, but I don't see the other ones. So maybe the 3.5, I'm glad I looked at this. Maybe the 3.5 is not automatically generating outputs like the other versions are. So maybe someone could help us out in the comments, but they're definitely not showing up here. So that means you need to go through these. You need to go through each one of the. I'm just using my right arrow when I'm on these, my right arrow. You need to go through and save the ones or save them all to your directory. So make sure you do that. Okay, a couple last things, okay? One is I would save. I would go up to workflow and I would save. I'll do a save as, and I would save this. Okay, and that's going to go in your workflows folder. So I would save that. The other thing is we want to terminate the pod and then talk about what happens when you want to bring the pod back with your network volume drive. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to close the Jupyter lab, and I'm back at my pods. So it's important that I close this, and super important, you have to stop it. You have to terminate the pod. If you don't terminate the pod, you're going to continue to get charged for it. So I'm going to stop it, stop pod. Okay, I stopped it. I didn't terminate it. Okay, I'm glad I'm clicking on stop because you don't want to click on stop. Stop is going to keep charging you. We want to click on terminate. All right, now we terminate the pod. Then the pod is no longer there. So what do? You come back to RunPod a day later, a few hours later. You log in. You go to storage where your storage is. Okay, because you have to use that storage. It's $350 a month for 50 gigabytes. It's Europe region 1, wherever that is. You click on deploy. Okay, you make sure that it's using the drive, and it will be ComfyUi. You scroll down. You pick I'm going to do some testing offline with the 4090. I'm going to pick the 4090 and make sure it's the right template, the ComfyUi Python 3.11, PyTorch 2.4, and then you just click deploy on demand. And then your pod's going to run. All right, that's awesome. We're running ComfyUi with the latest version of Stable Diffusion 3.5 in the cloud on RunPod. All right, I'll see you on the next one.